Hello everyone and welcome back to Sonic the Hedgehog on the SEGA Master System. I am One Wild Sheep and today we're going to take on the Labyrinth Zone, sporting completely original music, and it is as every bit as tedious as the original Labyrinth Zone was. If you guys don't know, this is a water level. Duh. And as you go through this water level, you need to keep hold of bubbles, otherwise you're going to drown. Now, this level in the Mega Drive version wasn't too bad, but in this version of the game, you need to make sure you stand still for these bubbles, because as you can see, you'll start drowning, and the bubbles take a long time to start actually spawning. Now, the biggest difference with this is actually there's no drowning music, as you would notice. So there's no dun 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 dun. There's none of that. It's just a timer. And this timer, even though it says 5, lasts way more than 5 seconds. So you don't have to worry too much about drowning in the stage, but it is more likely to happen than in the Mega Drive version. So watch out. These little spike things that also get shot out of the floor, they have an abnormally large hitbox for whatever reason, so be careful of these things. It's so easy to get hit and you don't want that to happen. But anyway, hit this checkpoint box. It's extra bubbles right underneath it as well if you need it. And when you go up here, we're going to meet a very hated enemy of mine in both versions of Sonic. Any second now. Meet the Orbinaut. Now, to deal with this guy, all you really need to do is wait for a second, because he's going to throw spikes at you. And when he throws the spikes at you, basically just jump down here and get yourself a refill of air. And then when you jump back up, his spikes will be missing, allowing you to kill him and progress further. Now, watch out for those spikes on top of the walls, or even if you do the smallest possible jump, just do a little hop, you're still going to hit them. They are very, very obnoxious to deal with. I have always died at one point or another because I jumped into spikes in this level. So just pay attention to the spikes and be very careful. When we reach this little offsetting by here, what you want to do is actually jump up and get out of the water. And I find this jump really finicky because sometimes the gravity will just say, no, you want to go back in the water. It can be a bit of a pain to deal with. But you see the switch by here? Well, if you push it, the ring box that was right by here will actually change into a life box. So if you want an extra life, hit the switch. If you want extra rings, leave it as is. There we go, there's Act 1 of the Labyrinth, pretty complete. And this is probably the only time in the entire series I have ever seen a Sonic series. This playthrough is the only time I have ever seen lives get given to you from the end of level checkpoint boxes. So if you're lucky enough, I don't know the actual requirements, you'll gain an extra 1-up from the end of level signposts. It's never happened in any previous playthrough of this game, and I don't understand how I get them. I must have been really lucky. But anyway, if you go up to this pathway, it's a very risky path to take because obviously there's spikes everywhere, and I could have sworn I was meant to get hit there. It looked like I went into the spikes. If you make your way up here, you gain a lot of rings, and you'll also give yourself a shield. So, if you want to risk it, it's a pretty good reward in jumping up here for you. Although this little alcove is very easy to miss, and I've seen so many playthroughs where people try to make it, but they sort of overshoot their jump, and they lose control of themselves, and they just go flying right into spikes. Now, this is a pathway you can take, one of the many in this level, and I don't think there's anything in there apart from rings, so you can ignore that room entirely. What we want to do is actually move left. Left in a Sonic game? Yes, this definitely is a labyrinth. So, just be careful. And I was kind of starting to panic by here because I was getting exceptionally low air. Fortunately though, if you go to the left, there's a spring right by here, so if you're low on hair? If you're low on hair, buy your toupee, but if you're low on air, just grab that spring and bounce out of the water and continue moving. And this is probably the only stage in the, the only act in this zone that really is labyrinthy. Because the rest of the level is, the first act was very linear. This one has many alternate pathways you can pretty much go to and just basically choose which way you want to go. And I still think it isn't much of a labyrinth, but I can see people having issues, mainly because it is a pretty big level and the water physics will mess you up, because as you can tell, I'm moving so sluggish. It's not even funny how sluggish you move underwater. In fact, you move so sluggish, this simple jump is really hard to make. What you want to do is actually jump on the very last pixel, right where the spikes start, otherwise you're not going to make that leap. It is like the really hard jump to make. I don't understand it. And to be honest, this stage, I don't like it. I really don't. I never liked Labyrinth Zone in the original Sonic game either. But in this one, it has a bit of a redeeming factor because the music is very funky. But overall, I still don't like it. It's just a very slow, clunky level, lots of water. And, you know. But anyway, see that invincibility power up there? Well, that's what we need to get next. We need this to get hold of the Chaos Emerald. So what you want to do is actually grab hold of it and actually run as fast as you can. Basically, the end of the level is pretty much right around this corner, and so is the final Chaos Emerald. This Chaos Emerald was changed in the Game Gear version, so it's pretty much out in the open, I believe. But basically, keep the invincibility power up and jump into the spikes. And there's your emerald. Very easy to miss. I've seen so many people go to this point in the game and go, oh no, what do I gotta do? I can't get the emerald now. Of course, if you don't get the Chaos Emeralds, don't worry too much about it. The ending is pretty much exactly the same. It's like one minor difference. But hey, if you want 100% the game, that's where it is. Anyway, the boss of Labyrinth Zone is actually a very tricky one to deal with because it's so slow. This is the slowest boss in the entire game, folks, and it lasts way too long. It really outstays its welcome. So to start things off, let's just continue moving to the right here and take the spring all the way up. And if we go to the left, I believe we can pick up a shield, or is it an extra life? It's either a shield or an extra life. I'm gonna guess it's a life. But anyway, you see this guy by here, Eggman. Whenever he's in the middle, don't hit him. If you hit him when he's in the middle, you're going to die. What you want to do is actually hit him when he reaches the left top or the right top sides of the screen. And you need to time your jump perfectly as well. So when you... My advice is once he gets low enough, just jump up and wait. Every time he goes to each side of the screen, they're going to shoot out a rocket. This rocket is... It's not that big a deal with, but I got exceptionally lucky trying to dodge that then. And this is basically the fight. You just rinse and repeat this. Just jump up, hit him, jump over the rocket, vice versa. And it goes on way too long. It's very slow. It's very tedious. And you'll get sick of the boss music doing this. Seriously, it's... I like the boss music, but the boss music in this version of the game is actually the weakest compared to the original. I mean, the original version of the game had, like, phenomenal boss fights music. But I don't know. Just continue booping him, that's all I can say. And once you get the pattern down, he kind of gets locked into this little pattern, so once you get everything down, once you get his pattern down, you can just really not even focus on the game. You can sort of, your eyes will glaze over and you just start pushing buttons without realizing it. It's easy. Again, no, he really outstays his welcome. Not a fun boss. Unfortunately, I don't have much to say anymore about this boss fight. You gotta love bosses like this. Although, I do prefer this boss fight to the Mega Drive one for one reason. I can actually beat him. The Labyrinth Zone boss in the Mega Drive version, oh my god, I hated that fight. Even today, it gives me trouble because I don't like those jumps, very awkward jumps. And thank God for that, we beat him. So now let's just move on, open up the capsule, free all the critters inside, and move on to what it would have been the final stage in the Mega Drive version, but what is the next to final stage in this version of the game. What? Yeah, that's right, folks, we are now going to the dreaded mechanical drum rolls please. Scrap Brain Zone. Now, Scrap Brain Zone is nothing like its Mega Drive counterpart. It doesn't throw as much at you. It's much easier than the Mega Drive version. Although you still need to be careful. Like right off the bat, there are bottomless pits, and those flames there will take you out. If you're fast enough on these conveyor belts as well, you'll be able to hit that 1-up box and get yourself an extra life. And although my life count says 9, I have actually more than 9 lives. I think I have about 10 or so. But anyway, this stage is actually a bit more maze-like in this game. Not so much in the first act, but the second act is pretty much a maze, and the third act you need to navigate a full-blown maze to get past. So it's different, really different, and it does have that foreboding I'm at the end feel, which I like. The music is just fitting, perfectly fitting. And of course, I don't know how, but I keep getting these Sonic 1-ups at the end of a level. I need to look these up. I don't know how I'm getting these. Is it just pure luck that I'm getting them? I assume it is. But anyway, Scrap Brain Act 2, which is a lot longer than Act 1, because Act 1, as you saw, lasted like 30 seconds. And to start things off, the stage starts off pretty much the exact same way. Got a couple of pits. Watch out for the flamethrowers on the walls, because obviously they burn. There's no two ways about it, they'll burn you. And you want to use these conveyor belts as platforms to make your way up. And watch out for the sides of the walls. As you can see, it's shooting out fire at you. The fire will hurt, don't touch it. Of course, if you go down the bottom by here, they do give you an extra shield if you do need it. So it's just there, it's a little bit of extra security, because you never know. We are at the end of the game, we could have issues later on. But for the most part, the stage isn't too bad. It's just more of a work your way around. You need to learn how to work your way around the level, and after you learn that, it's pretty standard. But first things first, you drop down here, and you see that extra life there? Well, we're not getting that extra life. Why? Because the way I'm going to do the stage will actually make it so it's impossible to get hold of. First thing we want to do, when we reach that little that little side tracking path, we want to go up. And every time you go up, basically jump over the first and second pits by here, and drop down the third pit. Now this third pit will give you a teleporter that you just jump into, and this teleporter will lead you straight to the Chaos Emerald. So there it is. And now let's continue moving. Now, the reason why we need to go to this area is because there's also a switch at the very end, and you need to actually jump on a switch. I think you need to jump on a switch. Yeah, you need to jump on the switch in order to activate that little sequence there. And that sequence will basically move you to where you need to go in the final section of the stage. Actually, I'm trying to think now. Maybe I do get that 1-up. No, I don't. So basically, now you need to backtrack all the way back to the little side paths where they split off and go to the bottom path. Well, it's not really interesting. The stage is pretty much over at this point. The whole trick to the stage is actually just finding where to go. Once you know where to go, you get through it just fine. So now we go through here, this doorway, and we're basically on a staircase. What you want to do is basically go from left to right, to left to right, to left to right, just repeat that fashion until you reach the bottom. When you reach the bottom, you'll know because it'll be a little jump that you can make. When you make this jump, do a little hop, otherwise you'll probably go too high up and you'll fly straight into the pit below. So do a little hop and you'll be able to go straight to this teleporter, which leads to the fiery exit of the stage. And that's pretty much all there is to this level. I mean, there's not much else to say, we're right at the exit. So yeah, if you didn't push the switch, you wouldn't be able to head to this area here. But of course, the slope physics in this stage is actually quite interesting. Like, I always have issues climbing up these slopes unless I keep mashing the jump button, so there's that. But anyway, here's the signpost, there's the level over and done with. And it's not bad, it's a lot easier than the Mega Drive version, but if you don't know what you're doing, I can see you having a bit of issues with it. Anyway, now it's time to go on and take on Eggman once and for all. Time to finish this game. Time to finish it off. So what you want to basically do is actually follow this maze, and the main rhythm to go through this maze is actually just to take the bottom routes for a large portion of it. Then once you get to this point by here, you start taking the higher routes. And basically just follow the same path I'm going by here and you'll be just fine. You'll be able to make through. I have seen loads of people get stuck in this section, and it's really not a hard section to deal with. You just need to know where to go. Like, I've had a couple of issues trying to find where to go exactly when I was playing this, but just push the right switches, get through all the mazes in time, and you'll be fine. That final switch there, you just jump over, you don't need to hit it. And use Eggman himself, and of course, as per usual, he's going to start running away very slowly. Or fastly, depending on how quick you run. I don't understand how you run so fast in these games.
I'm the fastest thing alive, but then, it's that Eggman. Whew, he gives me a run for my money.
A run for his money? Get it? Because he runs fast? But anyway, yeah, that's the end of the stage. No Eggman boss fight? What? That's because the stage was basically a transition into the real final stage of the game, the Sky Base. Now this stage, I'm not gonna lie, I died a lot. I really died a lot because I was making stupid mistakes. Basically, you see these electric diamonds in the sky. Don't touch them. Well, no, you can touch them, but whenever they start to spark, you need to get out of the line of fire, otherwise they will hurt you and probably send you flying backwards. Underneath this entire stage is a giant bottomless pit, so if you get hit, you're pretty much dead. So don't get hit. You also have these turrets to deal with as well, so what you want to do is actually wait for them to shoot out 3 or 4 pellets, and then just jump across the other side. And to be honest, the stage isn't too big a deal. The biggest enemy for me is that one Orbinaut there. Why? Because you need to wait. You need to wait.
So how's your guys' day? Mine's good, just taking on an Eggman.
So once you get clear of the last string there, that's basically your indicator to run underneath and jump across. Very hard to deal with, and also again, take your time. If you don't take your time, you're gonna die, because otherwise the electric bars of terror, death, destruction will shoot you and you will fall into a pit. Now whenever you're landed on one of these platforms with the propellers on them, they will start moving forward. What you want to do is actually jump on them like a madman to stop the propeller from moving to avoid the electricity. Otherwise, you're gonna die. Well, probably not gonna die, but you'll get hurt. And I apologize for anybody that might have seizures, because the stage really is really flashy, I have to say. Fortunately, there's only Act 1 is flashy, and is that complete. So now we're moving on to Act 2, but unfortunately, we need to skip the entire level. Not literally skipping the video, but skip as in we don't do any level platforming, because the only way to get hold of the Chaos Emerald in Act 2 is actually to skip the stage. What am I on about? Basically, on this section by here, crouch by here and you'll see a platform. You'll need to jump on this platform and you'll start flying all the way across to the final segment of the level. And that's all there is to it. Every time you see a new platform, you jump on it, you gain a little bit more altitude, and you'll be able to reach the front of the ship. And for the most part, you're not likely to die in this level. I don't see any possible way to die. Unless you take the normal route, in which case I think there's turrets and things that will try and kill you, so keep away from the normal route if you can. Just take these propeller platforms, they're easier, and of course you get a Chaos Emerald out of it, what's not to like? And even if you're not going for the Chaos Emeralds, they give you extra points if you care about that thing. But anyway, I could have jumped up there, but this game has a weird issue that I clip through the chains whenever I'm jumping up to that section, so even if you're tempted, go all the way to the end and then platform. Now be careful, there are turrets and they will shoot at you. You need to wait to platform across, because otherwise you're gonna die. Very easy to die in this stage. I have seen so many playthroughs where people spend like 10-20 minutes just dying on that one section. So be careful. And that's the most useless power item up in the entire game. You beat the level, here's 10 rings you can't carry over to the next level. Oh, thanks. But with that, now it's time to take care of the big bad Eggman himself. Time to finish this game off once and for all. And see 7 lives, prepare to see a drop. 2 lives! I died a lot in this fight, people. And this boss fight isn't actually that difficult, it's just tricky. What you want to do is actually shoot Eggman, well not shoot him, jump into his metal cage and run all the way back to the left of the screen. And basically rinse and repeat this tactic. Periodically he's going to jump on that switch, and when he jumps on that switch, a giant laser ball will come from the ceiling and try and take you out. It's not too difficult to deal with, but what you want to do is basically boop him and run back, and it'll rinse and repeat this. After so many hits, the laser moving back and forth between the area will actually stop shooting electricity, and it will only start shooting electricity at a certain point. So what you want to do is actually wait for him to switch. Once he's hit the switch, boop him, then run towards him, boop him a couple of times and run back. It's very awkward, very difficult boss to deal with. After you go past that transitional section though, the laser is going to start shooting every few seconds. And when it starts shooting like this, it is easy to deal with. So there he is, there's Eggman, completely done, dusted, and we've won Sonic the Hedgehog on the SEGA Master System, people. That is it to this LP. Now I've got away from that Sonic. Now I can go on my vacation. Hey, bro! Oh, no way! I can't believe this! Better believe it. So yeah, that's this game over and done with. So now that we got the Chaos Emeralds, let's go and see our reward. Oh, it better be a good reward. The pollution in South Island is taken away. That's right, folks. That is why you want to get the Chaos Emeralds, to get rid of all the pollution that Eggman's caused. Gems of mystical power used to remove pollution. Not rule the world or anything, just pollution. But anyway, that is basically it for this stage. This game. We're finished. We're done. So we get a nice image of South Island, and now we enter the credits. Now, the music in this credit sequence is actually, for anyone who's played Sonic Unleashed, been reused. In Missouri or Savannah Citadel Day Zone, this song was actually reused and remixed as the level theme for the stage, and I like this theme song. I think it's a really, really well done theme. But that's basically been the Sonic Master System LP. Very fantastic game. If you haven't tried it, I recommend you to try it out. If you have a certain version of Sonic Adventure DX on the GameCube, I think that's the version that supports it, you'll actually be able to unlock the Game Gear version of this game and play through it. And of course you could emulate it as well, or get the original versions. But that's basically Sonic the Hedgehog. This game has been re-released a little bit, but not as much as the original Mega Drive version, so it can be a bit harder to find. I would recommend you to find and pick it up though. Music, fantastic. Gameplay, solid. And difficulty, harder than the Mega Drive version, easier than the Game Gear version. That's what I gotta say. So, with that folks, that is all I have to say. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this LP. And I'll catch you all next time in my next LP, which I think will be Super Mario Bros. On the Super Nintendo. So, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I've enjoyed. I'll catch you all again. Thanks for watching. See you after. Don't be sheepish, people. Bye!